Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty intriguing information to get to go and talk to you guys about. As of right now with the leaks, it actually does kind of seem like we'll be seeing some pretty cool stuff when it comes to the next generation of the Xbox Series X and X consoles. We also do have a little bit more intriguing news when it comes to more on the Xbox brand new division of stuff that was actually just majorly announced, which if anything is really big news, and also a little bit of a tad bit too as well, for kind of just because like we've been seeing restock going on for so long, how the Xbox shortage does kind of seem like it is fully dying on down. So we have a lot of stuff to go talk about all throughout this video, a little bit of an Xbox video too as well, just because why not? And as well, if you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. As well, for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway, Amazon links down below for the PS5 digital console and controller. Twitter and Twitch stream as well, linked down below. We have the Twitter giveaway as well. We have the Twitch stream and all that good stuff down below with the Weeble and Coinbase. And let's go dive in the video itself. So, we have a lot of stuff to go talk about. So I think we maybe touched on this before just a little bit, but we're actually getting a little bit more on the rough date-wise, and as well a little bit more on the speculation side. So let's first and foremost talk about this one over here. So we have the Xbox Insider. We actually are getting some intriguing stuff going on with it, where the Xbox Insiders are now leaking the reveal of the next Xbox console. So as per usual when it comes to these types of leaks and speculation type videos, always take these things with a grain of salt, because it's kind of easy for even someone like me to be like, hey, in the next 3 years there's be another PlayStation 5, but it also might just be various depending, you know, the world's kind of weird. I mean, I'll sometimes even say that for the restock stuff, because it is actually proper and true. Like, if there's, like, you know, shipping delays or other stuff as well, things in the world have definitely been delayed, even think AAA games, you know, for time and time again. But I always want to go bring this stuff up on it, because it's always intriguing to go in here in the first place. So, according to a brand new report, the next Xbox console is actually being planned to be released as of literally this year. Now, that's a little bit earlier than expected, because, I mean, even if you kind of go throughout this entire cycle, I mean, in theory, it would technically be 2 years, and then if you also revealed it, and then you had time for people to get hype up for it, talk about it, you know, mention it, stuff like that, at the end of the day, it does kind of make sense, because that would give you maybe like a 3-year cycle. If you release it, say, around the holiday time, let people maybe pre-order, and they have the next generation and stuff. It kind of makes sense. I mean, I can maybe see it. But basically with this, so they're also basically saying it's not going to be the next proper Xbox console, but also apparently it's not only just a mere revision of the current Xbox Series X and S either. So something a little bit more on the in-depth side, and this actually comes from like a lot of just various insiders too. The report came from a very prominent Xbox insider and leaker, Nick Baker, and during a recent episode of the Xbox Era podcast, Baker relayed word that he has heard that Xbox is preparing to show brand new hardware sometime throughout this year, which is actually really cool to see. So talk about this mystery hardware, he also did go and tease that it's something Xbox fans won't see coming. So we've kind of made a video on this maybe a little bit ago before, kind of stating about how we were maybe seeing like a VR console. Or they like the recent kind of really improvement for the Steam Deck, where it's more of a handheld console, so I could maybe see that. We can maybe see something more attached with like phone side as well. And I'm just kind of curious, because when it comes to like a statement like people won't see it coming, a lot of folks have been seeing things like this, unless it's something completely out of left field. Like a PC or gaming, I can see that. When it comes to say like a Switch iteration, like a handheld, I can see it. When it comes to like a Steam Deck iteration, I can see that. When it comes to just maybe just a next like Xbox Series S tier, maybe an Xbox Series XX, like, you know, stuff like that, I can kind of see it. So that's why I'm a little bit more intrigued on they're saying that it's something people won't be expecting, especially with how much they're trying to go and dive more into xCloud. I feel like that seems a lot more likely still. We kind of talked about that in our previous video for this one before the kind of date leaks. All I was told was that I'm allowed to say is that sometime this year, or I should say sometime maybe this year, because there's a lot of stuff delaying things lately, whether it's the Ukraine situation or other stuff too as well, chip shortages, etc. Basically, he's been told it should be this year. So it's always intriguing to kind of see these leaks and other rumors and other content creators bringing stuff on up, because at the end of the day, like an Xbox Series X Pro, Xbox Series S Pro, or something brand new, I'm kind of down with, you know, as well. And especially now that we're kind of seeing the Xbox shortage kind of going toned down finally, it would make sense too that once the shelves are kind of lined on up, that they can maybe start forward thinking towards next year, now that they have their supply mostly locked on down. Baker did also go continue reinforcing that it should be this year, part of their statement, which is an important thing to emphasize because things are always subject to change. And then Baker then capped the tease with the juicy part. Xbox currently has some hardware to show that falls into a different bucket than people are probably expecting. And that's why I'm kind of intrigued on this stuff, because I could probably expect everything, like I said. Like even VR, which would be kind of nice to see, and it also maybe tying really well with the metaverse and other various stuff. It kind of just make a lot of sense. So basically, there are two things here of consequence. One, Xbox has new hardware to show, and it could be shown this year. Cool. And then two, it's not what people are expecting. So that's why I keep on mentioning other stuff too as well, and not just the generic like Xbox Series X Pro or Xbox Series S Pro 2 as well. So a lot of stuff can be tied on in, like a lot of stuff. So I'm very, very intrigued to go and see. And if you guys want to maybe give your thoughts and comments down below, feel free to. We have kind of touched on some Xbox leaks already, so it definitely does seem like Xbox has something planned up. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like, well, what actually is it? So give me your thoughts and speculations down below. As well, also even more stuff when it comes to the Xbox shortage that we've even covered ourselves on the channel overall. But I kind of want to go to re-articulate this, where with the shortage kind of somewhat getting a little bit more on the chiller side, where we actually have been seeing people, you know, getting their consoles. We've been seeing Xboxes showing up. We have seen them even earlier today with Target still having stock in stores, Best Buy having stock in stores. And most of the big retailers are pretty accessible when it comes to the Xbox. So it's very intriguing to me, mainly because it does seem like the shortage is slowly dying on down. Now, it's not fully done as of yet, because we are still seeing people buying them. We are still seeing scalpers getting them, and all that. At the end of the day, it's still like, it's not fully there. It's close. It's probably one of the closest consoles. It's kind of like that point where the Xbox Series S was mostly available, although on occasions they'll keep on selling out. And then after like around 2 more months, it was pretty much accessible everywhere. So we still have a little bit more time on the Xbox Series X shortages to go and say and all of that. But it kind of goes to show that if there's going to be new hardware, whether it's VR, whether it's like handheld, whether it's anything else tied on in, it would make a lot of sense if we do actually see that kind of prepped up now, because once the supply is easy to get, then obviously you want to have the next and best and greatest thing to kind of maintain that stuff. It's like the iPhone syndrome, where you always want to have another brand new iPhone every other year, because you always want to be selling stuff, you always want to be growing, and it will probably see a lot more of the PS5 Pro rumors and Xbox Series X Pro rumors and stuff like that in the near future, you know, PlayStation 5 Slim, because you always want people hyped up, you always want people buying products, you always want people exciting, and all that type of stuff as well. So kind of cool to see that. And then overall, if you guys want to give your thoughts on this one, if you guys are even still trying to get an Xbox, let me know. And kind of the last but not least, but kind of really big gaming news too as well. As you guys know, when it comes to games, that's the biggest struggle right now for the Xbox Series X and S. And we actually have a brand new unveiled publishing division, which is now also focusing more on the cloud native games, which is why we're maybe somewhat more intrigued on the next hardware iteration that might be tied into as well, because it just makes sense. Like a VR or cloud gaming console, Steam Deck type style thing would make a lot of sense. But this one's a little bit on the special side, because it's basically made by the same folks who made Portal, and the Left 4 Dead developer Kim Swift is actually basically leading the brand new organization too as well. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of those games in general. So, Xbox Game Studios Publishing has officially announced its new cloud gaming organization. According to Microsoft, the division works with studios to develop cloud-native titles and bring them exclusively to the Xbox ecosystem. It's basically developed by Kim Swift, who joined Xbox last year as the cloud gaming director. Swift rose to prominence as the project lead and designer of Valve's Portal, before working as a designer and artist on Left 4 Dead and its sequel, and it was more recently game designer directed at Stadia. So basically, if you want to go have cloud gaming, if you worked at Stadia, that's probably like the best kind of segue you could possibly go and have to as well. So basically, for this one, in a presentation video aimed at developers, which can be viewed above, Swift explained that the division's mandate is to partner with the world-class game development teams to develop cloud-native games to bring unprecedented experiences to players that will be achieved with cloud technology. The concept of cloud-native games differs somewhat from simply streaming games to a player's display using something like Game Pass or PlayStation Now. I'll tell you, like, this counts as cloud native because it relies on remote servers. These servers are still mainly running games that were designed for home consoles, as well too on top of that. So we're seeing a lot of cool information mixed with this too, like cloud native games use the cloud to process certain parts of the game, such as physics, lightning, environments, or AI, and this has a number of potential uses, such as freeing up processing power on a home console, or making sure that players joining an online world can have the same synchronized experience too as well. They had a chance to go and show this up on even like the Crackdown 3 mode too, which is kind of cool to see, because they're basically using the cloud to go and develop that, which at the end of the day makes a lot of sense. It kind of basically, once again, would probably maybe tie into the next upcoming Xbox Series X Pro, or their, like, maybe their weird hardware generation, their xCloud console, whatever it is. There's so many potential options with it, even VR, that in the end of the day, a lot of this stuff kind of makes sense, and that's kind of what I'm leaning towards, just based on the information that we're seeing and just how the world's kind of been going these past few years, like, you know, how gaming has been developing. So kind of give me your thoughts and comments down below. As well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console controller, Twitter and Twitch stream as well, link down below. Sign up for Weeble, sign up for Coinbase, and all those other various things too as well. If you guys didn't mind a nice little Xbox video, because sometimes the Xbox is fun to go and see. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Give me your thoughts and comments down below.